Dear student, today we will be talking about plant kingdom. So plants are classified on the basis of certain features such as they do not have differentiated plant bodies. Such plants are grouped under Thallophyta. The plant that have differentiated body parts. So again they are divided into two categories. The plant with specialized vascular tissue and the plant without vascular tissues. The plant with vascular tissues are called bryophytes. Again, the plant without vascular tissues are categorized into two different categories. The plant that do not have seeds and the plant that produces seeds. So the without seed, they are called pteridophyte, and the one which produces seeds are categorized again into further two categories. The plant that bear naked seed, they are called gymnosperm, and the plant that where the seeds are present within the fruit, they are called angiosperm. Again, angiosperm are further categorized into two categories. The dicot, which have seeds with two cotyledons, monocot that have seeds with one cotyledon. Now there are so many classifications of the plant which are given by different scientists. Here I am only concerned with what we have to do in the syllabus. So according to Eichler, thallophyte, bryophytes, pteridophytes were also classified under a category called cryptogams. Cryptogams means spore producing plants. Let's see how they are different. So thallophyte, the plant body is thallus, that is, which is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Bryophytes, the plant body does not have true root, true stem and true leaves, but they may show root-like and leaf-like and stem-like structures. Pteridophyte, the plant have true root, stem and leaves. So this is how they are different. The other features are, the thallophytes, they have no specialized system for conduction, that is, no vascular tissues are there. Again, in bryophytes, the vascular tissues are missing, whereas in pteridophytes, the vascular system is present. Thallophyte mainly include algae, bryophytes include mosses and liverworts, and pteridophyte include fern. So first we'll discuss the algae. Now algae consists of diverse group of aquatic photosynthetic organism with thallus body. Not only aquatic, but also they are terrestrial. But here the term aquatic is used because without moisture the algae cannot grow. They need moisture, presence of moisture for their growth. They are either unicellular or multicellular. It may be in the form of filament, sheets or colonial aggregate. These are different forms in which it occurs. The filament and sheets are often attached to the substratum with the help of the structure called holdfast. The colonial aggregate may flow freely on water surface. Now they are symbiotic and parasitic also, beside they are autotrophic. If you look at the structure of thallus, if you microscopically analyze the structure of thallus, then it consists of three different structures. Holdfast, a structure by which the filament and sheets of the algae are attached to the substratum. Lamina, which are also known as fronds or leaf-like, flattened leaf-like structure which do the photosynthesis. Stipe is a stalk-like structure which is attached to the lamina and the ending of the holdfast. So if you look at the structure in general, it look like this. You can see holdfast, which is attached to the substratum, then fronds, stipe, and in case of aquatic, the bladder is present at the base of frond. Now if you see the classification of algae, there are three different classes. Chlorophyceae called green algae, Phaeophyceae called brown algae, and Rhodophyceae called red algae. We'll just compare their main characteristic. If you see the pigment, why they are green, brown and red. The pigment in green algae is chlorophyll A and B, just like a plant. Plant also contain chlorophyll A and B. Whereas the brown carry the pigment chlorophyll A and C and fucoxanthin. The red one carries chlorophyll A and D and phycoerythrin. You must be knowing that chlorophyll is the main, you can say, pigment which carry out the photosynthesis by trapping the energy of sunlight. Now next is stored form. So basically it is polysaccharide which is stored in the algae, starch in case of green algae, mannitol and laminarin in case of brown algae, and floridin starch in case of red algae. Mannitol is a sugar, again laminarin and floridin, they both are polysaccharide. We'll be dealing in detail with polysaccharide and its derivative in the chapter biomolecules. So right now I am not discussing their structures. If you see cell wall, it is made up of cellulose and pactose. Pactose again is a kind of polysaccharide. Then brown algae, cellulose and L-genic acid. L-genic acid is again a polysaccharide. Cellulose is also a polysaccharide, and rhodophyceae, which only consists of cellulose. So flagella number and position 2 to 8, all equal, and position is literal in case of green algae. There are 2 unequal flagella in case of brown algae, and there is no flagella, means they are absent in case of red algae. If you look at the habitat, mainly the green algae are found in fresh water, brackish water and salty water. The difference between brackish water and salty water is that the salty water has more than 3% of salt in it, whereas brackish water, it has less than 3% of salt. And you will see brackish water where the sea water and the river water met. Then they are also terrestrial. Then mainly brown algae are marine and few are fresh water. And you will find red algae in the warmer sea and very few in fresh water. Then cell, they are unicellular and multicellular. Then brown algae and red algae, you will only see multicellular form, you will not see any unicellular form. Then if you look at the flagella, the red algae is non-flagellated as compared to the rest of the two. Next we will discuss the characteristic of green algae. So they are called ancestors of land plants since they consist of the pigment chlorophyll A and B. They live in water and they are epiphytic and epizoic. Now what is epiphytic? Epiphyte means they live on the surface of other plant, okay, but as a non-parasite, and they derive their nutrition not from that plant but from the air and water, or you can say from the atmosphere. Similarly, in case of animal, we use the term epizoic. That means the algae lives on the surface of animal and it is again in the non-parasitic form, just like a Trichophilus velkeri, which is associated with the hairs of sloth. Okay, so sloth look green because of the presence of this algae. Now symbiotic association, you can say Zoochlorella. Again Trichophilus is also an example of symbiotic association. Chlorella, we have already seen the combination of algae with fungi. Now we will see the life cycle of algae. So certain things that we have already discussed in kingdom Protista and fungi, I will not repeat those things, that you can read from those videos. So haplobiontic algae are those in which the gametophyte generation is multicellular, In diplobiontic, both haploid and diploid phases are multicellular. So we have discussed these terms. They also follow alteration of generation where the haploid phase and the diploid phase alternate with each other. If you look at the forms of the green algae, there are so many. I have just picked a few examples. Chlamydomonas, this is the most primitive, you can say, algae because it is unicellular, flagellated, and it has got parietal cup-shaped chloroplast. Chlorella, which is unicellular, non-flagellated, microscopic. Volvox, which is colonial, flagellated, also known as rolling algae. Spirogyra, which is filamentous, free-floating, non-branching, is also known as Pondska. So this is brief, you can say, about the green algae. Now here I'll discuss life cycle of just one algae, and you'll get the idea how this is taking place. See, as far as the asexual reproduction is concerned, it can be just in case of fungi, as we have shown, it can be by means of either spore production or by means of fragmentation and fission and all those methods. And sexual reproduction is by means of the spore formation only. Okay, and all the thallophytes are spore producing organisms. So here I will discuss one where I can show you the spore formation during the asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction, and Chlamydomonas is one of the good example to show that. Actually what happens in the sexual reproduction, in the sexual reproduction always two gametes are formed, they fuse and form the zygote. Okay, in asexual reproduction the different cells are formed from the Chlamydomonas. So let's discuss how they are formed. So first we will discuss the asexual reproduction. So this is Chlamydomonas. Here it consists of the cell wall, cell membrane, nucleus, and then eye spot, contractile vacuole, cup-shaped chloroplast. Now this is all similar as you have seen in protist. What is different is rhinoid over here, because this structure, which is a micro compartment within the chloroplast of algae, and its main function is to do the carbon dioxide fixation. Carbon dioxide fixation means synthesis of starch and other things or other carbohydrate is taking place from carbon dioxide. This process is called carbon dioxide fixation, and so many enzymes are involved in this. So basically it consists of all those enzymes since it is carrying out the process of carbon dioxide fixation. So this, now what is the first step? The protoplast separate from the cell wall and loss of flagella. Now what is protoplast actually? Protoplast, or you know, any cell, okay, without its cell wall is called protoplast. Okay, so when the content of cytoplasm is isolated from the cell wall, we name it as a protoplast. So it is separated from the cell wall, and then flagella are either absorbed or they are lost. Okay, and small you can say spore like body is formed. Okay, now this undergoes mitosis, two different mitoses, so 4 cells are produced. Okay, now these 4 cells are actually they are enveloped by sporangium, or you can say sporangium. In the sporangium the 4 cells are produced. Then later on further development occur in the 4 spores, so they develop flagella, chloroplast and everything, and these are now called as zoospores. So this was haploid, this is haploid, this is haploid. So all the zoospores which are produced are haploid. So 4 haploid biflagellated zoospores are released. Now this takes place under the favorable condition, that is whenever the organism want to do reproduction, because as soon as the zoospores are produced they are released in the environment. Okay, now come here to the sexual reproduction. So this is organism, Chlamydomonas. Now mitosis occur in this, okay, and it will give rise to different types of gamete. Okay, now again this process is actually regulated by number of factors. This actually occurs during the unfavorable conditions. So when two different types of gamete, like one motile, one non-motile, maybe isogamous and isogamous, okay, they fuse, okay, and once they fuse, this is called sexual reproduction. Zygote is formed. Now this zygote is 2n, okay. The zygospore is forming wall around itself, which is resistance to extreme condition. So it itself indicate that this is formation is during the unfavorable condition. Now from here they develop the flagella, and other development occur within the wall only, and after under the favorable condition they are released. So difference is they are released immediately, they are synthesized and they will develop, but they are only released during the favorable condition. Okay, so the cyst around them, it broke and germinated into the nearby surroundings and form the colonies of Chlamydomonas. Okay, so or you can say they are released into the environment. They are not forming colony, sorry. Okay, so this is what is the reproduction. So here the zygospore is diploid, here the zoospore is haploid. So these are the main basic differences. This is also known as, over here it is called zygotic meiosis, because meiosis occur over here in the zygospore, and whatever is released are actually the haploid Chlamydomonas. Okay, now let's discuss the economic importance. So we will see in next video. Thank you.